How committed are you? Philip Montrose here, my wife Jane Montrose and myself. We help people step up, tap into the heart of success with holistic coaching and healing. And in today's short video, I want to explore commitment. It's really the key to success and living fully. And it's more than just kind of a vague wish, I hoping for something. You want to really have more than that to create the life that I think you really want. And maybe you're already in the process of doing that. Hopefully you are. And here's some helpful suggestions because you want to connect with that dream, those dreams that come from deep down that are going to use your talents and gifts and come from the heart and the soul. So you can be of service. You can have a fun and useful life, a meaningful life, make an impact, and draw on your values, what's valuable in your life. And at the same time, you can't know everything. You can't know all the details exactly how it's going to work out. But you want to start with that dream, that energy, that inspiration that's going to lift you up and help lift others up. That's going to get you going, get you into the zone, into the flow state where you're really engaged in life in a timeless way in what you're doing in the moment. So, how do you get committed to that wonderful life? Well, uh, there's a few things you can do. I know there'll be some fluctuations. It's not always, but let me give you an example because there's some big pieces, some big things that have a follow through, a through line for your life. For us, Jane and myself, years ago, about 20 years ago or so, our first book or two was going to be published, or a publisher, a distributor took it. And was going to distribute these books, and things seemed to be going well. And it took a while; so it was a long process. And by the time we actually had sold a certain number of books and had a certain thousands of dollars coming to us, this distributor company went bankrupt. It actually had some corruption problems, and it all went away. And there was no money for us or no money for anyone. So we could have given up on our dream related to coaching and healing in our first EFT book, Emotional Freedom Technique book, but we didn't. This was our life. This is what we wanted to do. And regardless of the disappointment or setback, we were going to stay with it. We were going to be committed. And fortunately, if you are committed, what happens is the famous quote by Seneca, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So if you keep going, you're going to have a lucky time of it because you're going to be there at the right time. If you keep kind of hanging around, things will come, events will change, and quote, the randomness of life comes your way and you're in alignment with things, and you're on track, you're on purpose. And so to finish this story, another company came around for distributing books. It's called Amazon.com. I'm sure you heard of it. So our books started to sell well there. So that all was part of the journey for us. Let me give you another example, real practical example I think you'll find useful on commitment, and that has to do with remembering names. You might be like me and forget names, and I wish I remembered the names, because when you're meeting with someone, you're often emotionally engaged, you're connecting with other things, or maybe you're not even paying attention at all. And although you're aware of the person's presence and taking in their energy, you forget the mental memory of their name, although their name is very important. People remember their names and feel engaged if your name, you remember the Cheers TV sitcom, you go to the place where everyone knows your name. It's that homey place, but it's hard to remember, right? So I, like other people, always wanted to remember people's names until recently when something happened. It was called commitment. In other words, I made a huge commitment to remembering names. And every time I have a name, not only do I want to know the person's name, now it's a big task. It's like a big, hey, this is an important thing for me. I've inflated it, this idea of remembering a person's name to almost life and death level, which I know it's not, but that motivates me. That makes me committed. When you're motivated, when you're committed, you'll be motivated to do things. or you're motivated to get committed. Both work, I guess, together. So I do remember names and the associations. There's a lot of name devices, mnemonic devices, memory devices for remembering names. Like if your name is Carol, I imagine you singing carols. If your name is Bob, you're bobbing up and down. Or there's those kind of memories. And I had those before, as you may have, but I didn't have the commitment. That was the difference. So commitment, a key to having a great life. Couple final thoughts. Remember, you don't know what's going to happen next. You know, you'll have your dream and all kinds of strange things can happen, like a pandemic. Who would have imagined? And it can make a big difference. And hopefully it can make even a positive difference. Even things that are on the face of it or initially a problem or a disaster can turn into something positive if we have a dream. We have a place we're going. It's a journey. And we can't know how all the details are going to unfold. Even though we have a clear dream and it may reinvent and revise itself, we don't know all the details of how it's going to come out with all the possibilities, but yet we're aligned, we're on purpose, we're committed. And short and long-term goals are good guideposts, but don't let them put a pressure on you. Don't let them stifle the very dreams that you're in the process of creating by putting too much confinement or restriction or limitations on it. So commit yourself to having a wonderful life, commit yourself to your dreams. And it is a moment-to-moment affair, a day-by-day commitment. And that's when the magic happens. When you're committed, you're in the flow, you're in the zone. And even when things get out of joint, out of sorts, you know you have a dream and you have a commitment and you know how to be committed to having a wonderful life starting now.